Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is Big Girl Diary. Okay. Okay. Now, back to P. Diddy. Wow. I think, and don't throw tomatoes at me. Please don't. I truly think that he may be able to get out of this mess. Okay. You're looking at me like, BGD, what are you talking about? What you talking about? Okay, this is what I'm talking about. I'm looking at the superseding indictment. I'm looking at the responses, the opinions, and all that. Oh man, it's a lot. It's a lot to look at. Oh my goodness. This is what I think. And don't throw tomatoes at me. Truly, don't. I think that there were some employees that were upset because they had a crappy boss. And the crappy boss, how can I say, might be a little bit psychotic, a little bit on the drug side, or a rug addict, and had a lot of wealth and power and could do whatever he want. And he had a lot of yes people around him. Nobody said, yo, Diddy, stop, stop, right? No one did that. Now, as I'm looking at it, I'm looking at there has been a lot of stepping on the Fourth Amendment. Now, I'm looking at the investigation. I'm looking at did they really investigate? Did they really look into it? Or did they just simply take the statements and just simply build their cases on the statements? Did they go out there and do did the evidence match up with the statements? Now, before you say, oh, he's a horrible person, he's this, he's that, right. I agree. I agree, but it doesn't mean, oh my God, I'm really throwing myself out there. For a person who I don't even like, we in DC, we call them Sean Combe, Nita Combs. But however, if I see something that could be wrong and I don't say something, then this could roll over on someone who is being wronged and they have precedent to do it. Okay. Now, for an example, P. Diddy hired Mex workers, right? They were paid to do a job. And these were the same people who came back and said, hey, I want to sue. I want $30 million. Okay. Now, I'm not saying don't take what they say at face value. I mean, just take a look into it. But keep in mind, they were paid. They were employees, or shall I say independent contractors, to do a job. Look at Donald Trump. Look at him. Look at Stormy Daniels, something that he had a rendezvous like 16 years ago, and he paid her to do a job. She completed the job. And then 8 years later, she comes back and says, well, he didn't pay me enough money, so he should not be president. Then she comes back again and says, well, you need to give me some more money because you didn't give me enough. I mean, businessmen are notoriously cheap. P. Diddy is notoriously cheap. He is. He's cheap. Donald Trump is cheap. But however, does it mean that them having dealings with Mex workers, is that a crime? Is that a crime to? And Stormy Daniels messed up for everyone. So it's not like that anyone's going to trust the corn stars. That's done. Stormy Daniels messed that up. She did. And embarrassed her family. But P. Diddy, he gives every reason to say, oh, this thrown behind bars. He's such a scumbag. He's behind this, he's behind that. Now, whatever else he did, I'm not saying that he's innocent or guilty. No. I'm saying for this right here, for what the people have built the case, the FBI built the case on. Now, keep in mind, Kanye West said, hey, he's a Fed. Okay. I have a tendency to believe that. I do. I have a tendency to believe that he did a lot of work for the feds, going around the world doing certain things for the government, doing certain things for them, the boys in blue, whatever color they were, I don't know, but to do for them. But he was not continuously produced what he was supposed to. Oh, man, do I want to go down that road? I mean, it even gets into universities. I mean, this is how deep this stuff goes. It goes very deep between Howard University and AME, Alabama A&E University, doing a 15-year study. Oh, interesting. To bring thug. Thug means the homosexual underground. I thought that was a whoa, okay. And now everything is dealing with the LGBTQ AI community that is throughout Hollywood and music. And if you go back to that study that I talked about on my earlier videos, I go into it and I show documentation. But however, back to what I was saying. I mean, okay, let's take a look at this. And I gotta redo that other video. I deleted the wrong video. I'm like, oh my God, I deleted the wrong one. Yeah, embarrassing. But however, let's take a look at this. Now, this right here is the superseding, right? Document. So here, what I find interesting is that, okay, this abuse at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual as a part of the pattern of behavior. Combs manipulated women to participate in orchestrated performances of sexual activities with Combs and at times with Combs and male commercial mech workers. Now, there are people who are into some wild stuff, right? You got people who are into onesies, twosies, and it branches off into more people participating in sexual acts. I mean, Joe Biden's son, Hunter, he got kicked out of these parties. Oh my goodness. He got kicked out of these parties. He was so wild and out there, but then again, they didn't get him. They didn't get him. No, he gets away, he's gonna do more crazy stuff. But he got kicked out of these parties, and P. Diddy is throwing these parties. The fact that he can't go to a P. Diddy party, oh my goodness. Oh man. Look, it's open. It's open to whatever your wild stuff is. And Hunter Biden, he nobody wants him. I mean, whoa. Okay. President Biden, what did you produce? Okay, let me leave that alone. But however, let's get back to it. So what man, the average man wants that one thing, and he'll manipulate, like, hey, let me take you out, let me do whatever to get to his bottom line. Now, any red-blooded man will do that. Okay, they will to certain degrees. Now, I'm not talking about snatching and no, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about what they're talking about, and that right there is throwing a little manipulation in there. And we all women know that there's a level of manipulation that's going on there, and it all depends how far we are willing to go down to what they're offering. If you're down with that, and apparently the people that P Diddy was around was down with that. When you look at the superseding, I mean, it's wild, it's big, but and and keep in mind that this right here is through the eyes of the employees, right? The employees, through the Mex workers, through the girlfriends, because he had, I mean, the fact that he had more than one girlfriend and everybody knew about it. They're like, I know about it, I know, and they were all okay with that. The fact that what's her name? God rest her soul, Kim was fine with P. Diddy being with Jennifer Lopez and also being with Cassie. It was fine. And she went off and did her own thing. And then whenever P. Diddy was like, hey, well, you got to come back with me. You know, I want to be, but that was their weird life. That was a Hollywood wild, stuff that the average person would say, I'm not down with that. Okay. That's the average person. But we're looking at this through the lens of people that are in a group, and that right there is their group bubble and what they do. Now, is it right? I don't know. I mean, it is their moral compass, and they're down with that stuff. Again, is it right? I don't know. It all depends what you are into. And if you're into that, for me to say, hey, you're gross, you're sick, I could simply say it, but if I'm not in that world, in that bubble, I don't belong in that bubble. But okay. Now, again, P. Diddy, as I'm looking at this stuff, I had to take a step back. I had to take a step back and say, okay, look at it through a fresh set of eyes. Kind of hard to do, but I tried. Kind of hard to do. But as I'm looking at this, I'm just like, let me bring, where's that at? There's something that I wanted to show. And I should have spent more time on it when I did my recording. And I should have spent a little bit more time on it, you know, dissecting it a bit more, but I didn't. I just was trying to get through it, and that's not the right way to do things. Where is it at? But his lawyers were talking about how, hey, you are not supposed um to to critique this guy's, not critique, but get all this guy's stuff. Take all of his computers, his phones, his everything, his iCloud. Go into all of that. And to not have a particular thing which you're looking for, but you have such a broad scope that you take everything. And as you take everything, you're looking at the communications between other people. And then now you're looking at them. And it's very easy to flip people, especially if they have done things that's like questionable, and you're in the public eye, and you're like, okay, you caught that? Oh my goodness. Oh Lord, no. I can't let people see that about me. I mean, I have this particular public image, and now you got me doing that. And then, they were dropping a little information. But keep in mind, everything, the whole case that the prosecution has relies on his relationship with Cassie. They had a relationship 10 years. Look, they had a 10-year relationship. And was it the best? No. Was he abusive? More than likely he was. Did they stay? Yes, they did. They wanted the lifestyle. I mean, look, people can 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 overlook certain things in order to have a lifestyle. Everyone that P. Diddy was with, besides Jennifer Lopez, and she is not the nicest person in the world. I mean, she has a lot of narcissism in her. I don't know her personally, but just how she operates. Just the fact that you have to take a nice class to teach you how to be nice, right? Well, if you're in that type of atmosphere and that's the type of life that you went after, knowing that he had a hands problem and you overlooked it because you had expensive stuff, expensive clothes, expensive cars, and to be on that level, imagine what he had to go through in order to make that money. I could only imagine. Being on that level, you got to do a lot of stuff, like dealing with Clive Davis. I mean, that man, he didn't know which way was going. He truly didn't. So imagine what P. Diddy had to do in order to get where he was. I mean, he compromised himself big time too in order to get there. Now, again, I'm not making any excuses. I'm just looking at it from the court documents, and I'm looking at it from what I've read in magazines and other people's content. And I'm like, the man compromised himself. I mean, just look at his mama. And even if that is his mother, I don't know. They're saying that's his aunt, his dad. Okay. That's a whole lot right there. But still, he was providing a lifestyle. Now, did he tell Cassie, hey, I'll give you a record deal? Wait a minute, comment. Oh, yeah. Yes. Thank you. You put it in a great way. Thank you very much. Yes, it was transactional. And that's and he was in a time to where women were, but hey, you got to give me some money. I got to get my hairs and nails done, and they may have to be all white, but she was with him for 10 years. Now, did he have certain liberties? I mean, he was able to go through LA with no problem, Florida with no problem, Atlanta with no problem. What is it called? New York City with no problem, and he was in constantly, constantly working, constantly promoting, and he had his Mex workers who were there too, who were getting paid. And from my understanding, what they were saying that he paid them extra, he paid them money. So I'm just like, okay, they're really going after P. Diddy. I mean, Harvey Weinstein had a lot more freedom than P. Diddy. And Harvey Weinstein had a longer reach. And EpiPen, oh my goodness. Jeffrey EpiPen. Okay, he got convicted for dealing with the young ones. And him being down in Florida, he was able to get away with certain things. Law enforcement gave him a little pat on the hand and all of that. And he was able to get away with certain things. Now, P. Diddy, again, Kanye said he's a Fed. Now, if he's a Fed and he had cameras all over the place, then who were the targets? I'm just saying who were the targets. He'd been doing that for about what, 20 some odd years. So now that all of this is coming to an end, and I'm just thinking, okay, he's collateral damage. He was a willing participant. He simply could have went to jail back in the 1990s. Yeah, 1990s, when he got arrested, made some kind of deal with someone that was able to allow him to move around. But there's something that his lawyer said that I thought was, oh, okay. I think this is it. Okay, let me go ahead and share it. I think this is it. Okay, here. Okay, multiple. Is that it? Multiple acts of arson chargeable under the provision of state law, California Penal Code. Multiple acts of bribery, chargeable under the following provisions of state law. Multiple acts of indictment, acts indictable under Title 18. But here it says multiple acts. Okay, wait a minute. The multiple acts under, I can't, I like to highlight multiple acts indictable under Title 18. Where relating to transportation and inducement to travel for purposes of prosthetic leg, prosecution, okay, and other illegal sexual activities. Now, in New York, that's legal, okay? That's legal, doing a prosthetic leg. Now, there are people who are escorts and who do illegal sexual activities. They get paid for it. They've been doing that for a long time, but they're saying that this right here is illegal and he shouldn't have done it. And the courts or the prosecution is saying, and by him doing that, that right there's car trafficking. I don't know, but I find this taking MEX workers that are getting paid to do the job that they were asked to do, willingly decided, okay, I'll do it, got paid to do it. So I'm sitting there trying to understand where is the issue here. You had adults with another adult making a business deal about, okay. But where's that? Okay, multiple offenses, including the possession of the intent to distribute and the distribution of narcolepsy and controlled substance. I have to be careful, the algorithm. Substances including uh cocoa butter, oxy toothpaste, alpro, okay, and meshy, all right. Okay, I can't even say this. All this other stuff, right? And people were into it. They were into it. Now, with the intent to distribute and the conspiracy to do the same, Title 18 under, and it was a part of the conspiracy that Sean Combs, P Diddy, Diddy, P Diddy, PD, police department. I find that quite interesting. PD and Love, the defendants agreed that the conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activities in the conduct of the affairs of Combs' enterprise. Now, when they got all his stuff, they're saying that his life is an enterprise. I mean, just take a look at that. They're saying that his life, how he lives his life, is an enterprise. Now, how many men go to prosthetic legs and pay for a service? They get a service. two consenting adults. I pay you, you do this. What is the price? That's the price you pay, they do, you walk away, right? Now, he throws parties that people are, I mean, okay, women. Women have a bachelorette party. You go out and you pay guys to come in to do a service. Same thing, except they took it a little further. Now, some people hire these people to come in and service a party. Sometimes it goes a little further, whether if they get paid extra or whether if they just throw in a freebie. Who knows? But I'm looking at it and his whole life is on trial. Yeah, he is a freaky individual. He has wild ideas of what intimacy is. Some people are down with that. They got kinks, and I don't want to go down that road. That gets wild. I mean, what are you going to do about the skinny guys who likes fat girls crushing them? Oh my God. I mean, you got wild stuff, right? I'm not saying it's right. I mean, if a fat girl lays down on a guy to crush him and she can't move over, or she can't move in enough time and he gets crushed and he can't breathe and he loses his life, then what? It's wild, okay? So he has a wild idea of what intimacy is. Now keep in mind, oh, to add additional to it, they built a case off of 4 people that are Jane Does and John Doe. And they have no clue. I think the Sixth Amendment is to where you have the right to be brought in front of your accuser. Now, they did the same thing to Jay-Z with that third. He was accused, him and P. Diddy were accused of with a 13-year-old girl 25 years ago. Comes out that the lawyer dropped it with prejudice. So what did he find? Is it a money grab? Because when Cassie won her case, she never went to the police. She never filed a police report. She sued him. She sued him for his treatment of her, which I don't. I don't want to say that that she stayed in it for the relationship because she thought that she was going to get a ring out of it. I mean, look at Evan Rachel Wood. I mean, she thought that Marilyn Manson was going to give her a ring, and all of a sudden he was like, she's running out with between men and women, and she was every which way but loose. But then when he's like, look, that was just too much, I can't do it anymore, and then he marries somebody else, all of a sudden he did this to me, he did that to me. But when she's giving interviews, oh, he's vanilla in bed. All of a sudden she's saying he's doing all this wild stuff. So then what is it? What is it? What is it? Right? Is it that he's vanilla in bed, or is he just this master person that has dark desires in the bedroom and do all this wild stuff? I mean, what is it? So now we got to really stop and look. Okay, we don't know who these people are. They are not. He doesn't know who they are. So how do you properly prepare your case for somebody who you don't even know who's coming after you? Now, again, I'm just taking a step back, looking at everything that I was able to get, and now, P. Diddy's lawyers are coming out swinging because they're like, wait a minute, wait. You took everything. Let me see if I can find that. I don't know if I can bring this up. But they're saying they took everything from him. They took his phone. They had no parameters. It was a general subpoena. Now, subpoenas, I don't know if anybody been in trouble. I know me watching police shows, I'm able to say, oh, okay, it has to have this, and this. There has to be guidelines. That's not what they did. They had a general subpoena, and they went back several times, took his phone, took his computers, went his iPad, and looked at everything. It's not they had to only look at this right here, just that. Everything else had nothing to do with it, but just that's what they're looking for. No, they had that, and they went all the way over there and looked at everything, looked at all the text messages. Well, some people are like, well, I'm okay with that. Just get them. I don't like them. Well, I'm not willing to do that, because if you could do that for one person, I mean, just look at Donald Trump. Let's look at him. I mean, he was claimed to have touched a woman in a busy shopping mall while people were there, and he did certain things to E. Carol. She's saying that he, grabbed her butt and he touched her 50 years ago in a department store, and no one did a thing. I mean, it's like, really? And then she gets $86 million or $83 million, and people like, get him, get him, get him. I don't like him. But we got to stop and think. It's not about who you like. We got to look at it as what is fair. That's all that I'm saying. That's it. All that I'm saying. This let's keep it fair. Now, I do believe that P. Diddy was a Fed, is a Fed. Well, not anymore. I guess he got his wings clipped, and they don't need him anymore because he had become too reckless. He was too reckless, and he was too messy. And by him being messy, he was sloppy. And you can't have the Phoebe allowing their person that they use to bring stuff in on private planes from other countries. you can't make this. Look, you can't make it up. You can't. And they had to get rid of him because Lucian Grains, Sir Lucian Grains, that happened to be knighted by the British royal family. Prince William knighted Lucian Grains, so he's basically above the law. I mean, can you believe he's named in lawsuits, and they pluck him out and put him over there with Universal Music Group? I mean, you don't see a setup. You don't see a setup going on there. I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, if he did some things, I believe he did some things. Did he do these things? I don't think so. I think that there were people down with it that sort of got caught up into something they didn't want anybody known. That's simply my opinion. I could be wrong. But however, if you hang around, who would hang around? How can I say this? How can I say this? Who would hang around with a person that is this terrible, this horrible, but you're able to date other guys, and then as long as you come back? I mean, Cassie was dating Kid Cudi, right? And whatever occurred, maybe she stayed a little bit too long. I'm not sure. I don't know whether if, they got into an argument and she said some things that set him off, him having all that stuff with toys up in the attic and blew up his car. I mean, allegedly. I don't know. I know what he said. I know what I read. And that's what he put down in writing. I don't know if he's going to go to court and testify to that under not only under oath, but also through cross-examination. So I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm looking like some people are not gave their statements, and the government's not even going to have them come up and testify their facts. I'm just like, ain't this a blip? Is it a blip? Again, P. Diddy, a terrible person, terribly flawed, has a lot of issues. He would be a therapist. He would need a couple of therapists. Just my opinion. He needs some some help. He needs some help. And then if anybody needs it, should get it. That's all that I'm saying. But I mean, you have people coming out of the woodwork. The 13-year-old girl who said that he done that, her case has been dropped. Then you had this one girl who said, in like what was she in the DC area, saying that whenever he would come into town, he would call her, and then he grape juiced her, and while they went out on a date, and then she was upset, never went to the police, but then he left and he came back and he apologized, gave her roses, and that was okay. And then she went out with him again, and then he grape juiced her again. I mean, then he left and he came back later and then brought her some more flowers, and she was okay with it. They were fine. And then grape juiced her again. I mean, okay, at what point? Just help me out here. Do you give out grape juice and you're like, okay, he grape juiced me, he gave me some flowers, it's okay, but now he grape juiced me again? I mean, at what point do you bring the police into it? At what point do you come out and say he did this? But then you want to file a lawsuit for money. I mean, now if let's say that he did do it, right? Let's say he did do it. And she allowed that to happen. She never stopped him. And then he's doing that to other women. I mean, then she's a part of the problem. Just like if, Cassie, I mean, she's been with him for 10 years and she's saying that he made me participate in these frico offers, right? And they've been doing that for 10 years. And she was ordering, her own guys. Okay, I want that. At what point does it become that was your thing? I'm just saying, because there are some people that enjoy that type of activity. There are people that are really into some things that are unconventional that other people are simply not into, or other people will say, okay, that's a bit much for me, out of my level of comfortability. Oh, goodness gracious, messed that word up. But does it make him this person that was a fed and to take his whole life and to throw it to prosecute his whole life? Now, if they could get away with that, imagine what they would do to everybody else. I'm just saying. I'm just looking at down the road, if they can do something like this and get away with it and successfully skirt away from the Constitution, and that's exactly what's going on, skirting away from the Constitution, and then us people who are like, I believe it. Alyssa Milano, I believe all women, and then you're seeing women lying and having like the woman who said that the lacrosse guys down in Durham, North Carolina, Duke, the Duke lacrosse team, she said that they grape juiced her, and some spent like 6 years in prison. And then for some reason, she gets on Facebook and says, okay, I lied. I mean, they really didn't do that to me. I mean, I lied. I needed attention. I needed this. I needed that. So what if, let's look at this. I mean, because he not only had Cassie, but he had also other women that he was dealing with. Now, did she really want to share her man? Because some women will do that if the guy has enough money. He had enough money to where women were, okay, I mean, I will have no problem sharing my man as long as he gives me what I want. And that's what he was doing. Now, by him having toys in the attic and being on rugs for a long time, it skewed his level of thinking. And the only thing what he did was party and promote it. And he's a promoter. He was promoting for Chirac. He was promoting all around the world. He was promoting. And he was getting paid off of promoting. And then he had people there that was with him that were Some were his employees and some were hired Mex workers that happened to go to other places. Now he went over to the UK and hired Mex workers over there, and he brought people from here over there. I mean, it was business. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that was his business. And that's what he was doing, promoting Chirac, that I thought that he owned, and he didn't. He just had, they gave him the right to say that he owned it, but he was promoting and he was basically an employee of Chirac. So he was making sure that he was getting his money. I got to get my money, get my money. So I'm looking at all of this and I'm just like, I mean, Cassie he kicked her to the curb for Young Miami, and Young Miami is sitting there, saying, I didn't do all that, and he gave me more money. He gives me $250,000 a month, and he gave you what? I mean, look, wives and girlfriends, the exes are like, you did what? You give me $200 a month, and you're giving her $5,000. Oh, you're not getting away with that. I put up with 10 years of your BS and your lying and cheating, and you give me $200 a month, and then you give your new girlfriend a flashy car. I'm just saying. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking there's more to it. There's more to what we see. There's more to what the Fed is putting out there. Again, I very well could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I'm just taking a look. I'm taking a step back and I'm just looking at it through different eyes. Now, some of you would, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a number of you who's going to say, oh, BGD, what's wrong with you? You're down with it? No, it's not being down with him. No, no. I remember him from the 1990s, late 80s, 1990s in DC. When, again, like I said, that when we called him Sean Combs, Nita Comb, he run around with beady hair, robbing Domino Pizza guys. I mean, I remember him back then before he left Howard and went to New York, met with Clive Davis. We known him as being a bit thuggish. He gets up there and he gets a bit sweet. Okay, that's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. But who knows? Who knows? But there was something else that I don't know why I can't find. I don't know why it wants to hide on me now. I'm just like, oh no. And I can't find it now, and that is not good. But however, I just find it, what I see is that the music group is getting rid of the old guard and they're bringing in new ones. Now, from what I saw, was that Lucien Grains was, I would like to say, what's his name? Drake. Grooming Drake to be the next P. Diddy as P. Diddy was going out. P. Diddy simply didn't want to leave. He's like, oh no, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I don't have any other skills. I can't do nothing else. I can't. My brains are gone. And the only thing I do is I party. I'm in my 50s. And if I don't have this, I get no play. Nobody wants me. Well, Drake messed that up. I don't know who else they're going to put in P. Diddy's place, because like I said, he was moving a lot of stuff. He was bringing in people, and P Diddy. You know what I really would like to see. I would like to see the Caribbean get P Diddy. That's what I would like to see. That's where a lot of this stuff, if you really were to really take a look at it, P Diddy in the Caribbean, in Barbados, back in 2013, and he was looking for people that were from the age of 4 to 45. Where are those people at? I would like to know. I would like to know him being in Belize. I would like to know about that. There needs to be investigation in that. And the Democratic Party are up to their eyeballs in that. And I hope Doge can. I'm getting into my other channel. Now, the real crimes, I'm pretty sure he has done stuff here, but I'm looking down there in the Caribbean where things are very lax, where he paid off public officials, where his friend Shine Barrows, who was his rapper that spent 10 years in jail, P. Diddy and J-Lo sort of was able to back away from that, and then he took the fall. Now, I don't know whether if the bang bang where it came from, was it him? Was it P. Diddy? Did J-Lo have the bang bang? I don't know. But I find that time period right there very interesting. I do. But I think that goes back to the late 80s, 1990s. If I can find it to where he, but let me leave that alone. But this is simply my thoughts, me expressing my thoughts. Like I said, I very well could be wrong, but I'm just looking at it from a different perspective. That's it. Because people had a lot to gain. People were upset. P. Diddy had shady business practices. I mean, in business is trying to get something for free. That's what it basically is. And not everybody goes into business to do the right thing. Not everybody goes into business to be a proper business person. There are some sharks or scumbags, put it like that, to try to get something for nothing. And that's what P. Diddy did. He did a lot of times trying to get something for nothing and burning bridges. So there are people that have a vested interest to see him lose everything and spend the rest of his miserable life in jail. I agree with that. There are a number of people. Little Rod, he just wanted his $50,000, and then he turns around and sues, and he's trying to get, what is it, $300 million? I mean, that's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. But what are your thoughts? Please like, subscribe. That's for free. Leave a comment. Let's have some engagement. Let me hear what you're thinking. And please, don't sit there and say, oh, a BGD, you're off your rocker. Okay, if you say that, could you please back it up with something that I said? I mean, come on. Come on. And then if you really want to jump off the bridge, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. I'm trying to keep up with these subscriptions. Big Girl Diary. Everything helps. But on that note, I do want to thank you for stopping by, because you could be anywhere in the world, which you are, but you're here with me.